Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's go on and have that conversation with the student from the Ghana School of Law. I have with me two of them here. Nicholas Nomashi, he's organizing secretary for the School of Law. You're welcome, Nicholas.
Thank you very much.
Also here in the studio with me is Delali Masiku. He's a member of the communication team for the Ghana School of Law. Delali, you're welcome as well.
Thank you.
Let's have a very quick conversation about this and what's happening on your school. You've written this release, and you're saying in this release that you are boycotting the special classes that's being organized, and you list a number of reasons that for which you've put this information out there. So first of all, let's go through the problems that you have. You say the problems about people failing, as far as you're concerned, has nothing to do with teaching and learning.
Exactly.
How do you know that for sure? What's the scientific basis?
Okay, thank you very much. So what we undergoing currently at the Ghana School of Law is a new professional law. See that there's a new shift from the usual professional law course, okay, which was introduced in 2015. And now since then, since 2015, we realized that not even 15% of the students admitted to the Ghana School of Law are able to make it to the bar. And this is very simple because the reasons are quite simple, because we are taught by a different group of people. The exams are set by an independent examination board now, and then marked as well, not by those who taught you. Now, what has become evident is that there are no known marking schemes or examination reports of our examinations. These are issues that we are asking that these issues are resolved, okay, so that our examination should be in line with what has been taught. Now, there's one important issue. When it comes to the Ghana School of Law, in a manual of the courses we are supposed to undertake, and then the students commit to stay within the manual, the lecturers commit to teach within the manual, and then the independent examination committee commit to set their questions within the manual. This doesn't happen. The lecturers stay within the manual, students stay within the manual, but the examinations sometimes find themselves coming outside the manual.
So what you're saying basically is that sometimes there's this manual that you work with, but when you take that manual, the questions you see, the areas that you cover or that manual covers, sometimes you don't find that reflecting in, how do you even know that those who will be marking are not staying with it? Those who set the exam questions, okay, so those who set the exam questions tend to set questions that are not in the manual. Is that what you're saying? So
our predecessors had an occasion where they actually had to boycott an exam in the exam hall because the paper they were writing had nothing to do. We have different courses: evidence, criminal law, criminal procedure, civil procedure. So every area of specification of law has its own principles. Now, as in our case, you enter the exam hall to write a family law question, and you have drafting a family law question.
And that shouldn't happen. And that was not a purely special case. I mean, it was not an isolated case. No, this is a trend. Course, yeah. It's a trend.
It happened last year. Our seniors boycotted. We didn't boycott this year. We petitioned that those things be looked at, because you pay the agreement. You can't go outside what is in the manual.
Okay. So so let me add this to the conduct of the examination of your, the conduct of the management of your examination, which is one of the major issues that you have. You're saying that there is also a repeat policy, which you're referring to in your letter as unfair. Tell us a bit more about that. I don't know if you'd want to have a go with that one.
Okay.
Nicholas.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all our cherished viewers. When you look into the LI that regulate the conduct of the legal profession examination, it makes a provision that where a student fails in 3 or more papers, you have to repeat the entire course.
Okay.
Now, we did this 2-year course in a year. In the past, it used to be 2 years. So when you fail in 3 papers in an academic year, you repeat that year.
Okay.
However, in our case, when you fail 3 papers out of the 10, you are you are going to repeat the entire program, which is you have to rewrite the 10 papers again. So now, this to us is unfair.
Okay.
Because a student trails, and then the mark for the trailing is 40%. Anything below 40%, below 50% is a trail. So you go into an exams and then you try your best, and in any which way, exams at our professional level is supposed to what? Test your confidence and also your technical knowledge on the law, which we have acquired most at the faculty level. So at the professional level, it's more of procedure.
Well, so that's how you look at it. But when they say that if you've done the course, you've done the course, you need to be tested to approve, approve yourself as someone who is fit for the program that you're studying.
Exactly. So if you want to test us to approve of us as fit for the profession, we should stick within the manual. When you're setting exams, the exam question should fit what was taught in class. Here is a situation like my colleague said. Lecturers come and teach us, an independent body sets the exams, and we don't even know the capacity of those people to examine us. In any which case, they didn't teach us. So they come and set the exams, we go and write, and another set of people mark the exams. We equally don't know their competency when it comes to marking of examination, because we don't know of any marking scheme that they go by. When you're a trained teacher, you know how to mark a script. But here, maybe there's somebody who is a lawyer, but in the last 10 years, he hasn't done any case in family law. And that person is approached to mark family law questions. You could just imagine.
Are you saying this as a matter of fact or as a matter of sentiment?
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact.
So
yes.
On facts, we had a meeting last year with the Monitoring and Evaluation Committee of the General Legal Council, headed by Justice Atuguba. Now, I specifically asked him a question. When the new LI, the amendments to the LI 2355 was in a process, I asked him a simple question: that the repeat policy, which our predecessors had the opportunity of, or the laxity of 6 courses before you repeat, the new LI was introducing 3 courses, and then he was like, no, because we are being taught the law. Law is not applied retrospectively. So you're like, of course, your rights did not accrue under you were not admitted under the new law. You are admitted under the old law. Currently, I can confidently say, we just left a meeting with the director of the Ghana School of Law. They don't even know which law they are applying to us. They are applying the new one. And in principle...
So it looks like at a point they're applying the new law, at a point they're applying the old law.
Okay. With the repeat policy, they're applying the new law. But in certain provisions, they tell us that they're applying the old law.
Okay.
At a point, they tell you the old law is repealed. At another point, they tell you your rights accrued under the old law.
So,
that's interesting. So hold on. So there's a bit of inconsistency there for you as far as you're concerned. Let's speak to Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman. He's senior lecturer at the Ghana School of Law. Mr. Opoku-Agyeman, thank you very much for your time this afternoon here on the Pulse.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Very well. So I'm just engaging a number of your students, about 2 of your students here, and we know that they've issued a letter. That's the Student Representative Council have just issued a letter directed at the director of the Ghana School of Law, saying they're boycotting the special classes. Has this come to your attention?
Well, thank you once again. Let's get this straight. I mean, special classes is not a formal law school class. Special classes, so when there's a boycott or attempted boycott, it's not boycott by students of the Ghana School of Law at the moment, but those who were unsuccessful in their examination. So let's get that straight. The law school classes are going on, but we are not talking about those who were unsuccessful in the examination, and there was a decision to organize a special class for them, so that we made the distinction. I'm also aware that even the regular students also joined those who have failed and boycotting class for a day in order to present a petition to Parliament. So I'm aware of it.
You're aware of this. And has this letter as well come to, apart from, you know, those who boycotted classes, normal classes, and joined those who are not happy, have you seen the letter that was sent to the director of the School of Law?
I've not seen any letter, but I was supposed to have even given a lecture last Tuesday, but only 5 people came, and my attention was drawn to the fact that they have written to boycott the lecture. So it was then that I was informed. So last Tuesday, yes, I got the information that they boycotting, and only, as I said, the number is huge, but only 5. And because of that number, we had to cancel it. So later, I got to know that they did not come because of the boycott that they have.
Okay. So I just want to find out what the plan of the school is. Now, they've raised a number of concerns. First of all, they say that they do not think that the mass failure that we recorded is as a result of teaching and learning. They don't think it has nothing to do with the teaching and learning. I'm just talking to some of them who say that there's a manual that's supposed to be dictate how they're taught and assessed at the end of the day. But it looks as if when it comes to they're taught all right with the manual, but it seems as if when it comes to assessment, they're assessed way beyond the manual.
First and foremost, I am not member, the director of the school. I'm not, even though I'm part of the management, I'm not the director of the school. Secondly, I'm not part of the Independent Examination Committee, which is a committee of the General Legal Council that has delegated examination and all that stuff to them. My duty is to teach. And since 2015, 2016, my duty ends after teaching. I do not know those that are selected to set questions, and I do not know those whether they have their marking scheme, and I do not know those who are examiners. I do not know the caliber of persons who are the examiners. And therefore, if you ask me about any of the technical issues relating to the examination proper,
you might not be able to answer.
To offer you any assistance. But if you are talking about the manual, yes, we have developed that manual. A manual is just the amplification of the course outline to give indications as to what students have to go through. It's just a guideline, but it directs them as to what to read, things that they have to read. But it does not stop there. They have to read. And what is in the manual is supposed to be the outline, course outline. Therefore, whatever that comes in examination must reflect what they have been taught. As I keep on saying, examination is not to trick any person. Examination at the professional level is to check the competency of the person in what the person has been taught, and whether the person is capable of practicing it when the need arises. But it's not like a temptation or a trick. Therefore, it will be very capricious and unreasonable if examination is to go outside what people have been taught in order to trick them or to ask them to hazard guesses. We don't hazard guesses in professional examination. So if that is the case, that may be a problem. But as I said,
your student, Mr. Pokwajima, your student feel this way.
And what I'm saying is that, yes, they are very right to feel that way, but I am not part of it. Those who, yes, I'm not part of those
right.
And my position is known. Everybody knows my position on these matters. But to be honest with you, as I told Parliament last time, there is a systemic failure, and we all must, because for me...
Help us with your position again, sir. What's your position on this?
My position is known, and the students who are there, they know my position.
Yeah, do tell me, sir. We're 3 here now.
Yeah, there's no point for me to... But what I'm even telling you is part of my position.
Which is?
Yes. So what I've just said is part of my position, and I'm just saying that, in my view, there's a system failure.
Okay.
As a lecturer, if luckily I am not part of the examination.
But are you interested in resolving this issue? Since I mean, I understand when you say you're not part of those who set the questions. You're also to teach, and you've done your best at teaching. But at the end of the day, the people you're teaching are failing massively. Does that bother you? And do you want to be a part of the solution?
I have taught for 25 years, and you can ask when this mass failure started 2 years ago. The last time I was part of the examination, the pass rate was 78%. For my 25 years, the lowest that the school has experienced for pass rate when lecturers were setting questions and marking was 56%. Let me be honest with you. We are not putting the blame only on the examination, thinking that maybe because we are selfish or we want to blow our horn to be given the opportunity to mark. Far from it. But even if you set up a system, you evaluate the system, and then you find out. Because for 2 years, you come with a system, and 2 years you have had first year 17% pass rate, second year 12% pass rate.
Terrible, I'm sure.
If you look at all from 20 years before, you can do an analysis and maybe think about what you can do.
Right.
That's why I said there's a system failure. And it has to be reviewed.
That we need to deal with it. And if I'm getting you right, correct me if I'm wrong, from what I hear you say, part of the correction of this system failure is to allow those who teach to do the assessment.
Is there any institution you see, sometimes there's this misconception. Some people say, oh, WAEC examine SHS, but they don't teach. But I believe WAEC has no SHS, which we call West African Senior High School, West African Examination Council Senior High School. No. They also sometimes refer to ICA. But
indulge me briefly. Because of time, if you could help me answer the specific question about allowing teachers, as in people like you, who teach these students, to be the one that assess them at the end of the teaching.
The policy is not for me to make. It's for those policy makers to think about what they have done, find out, because if you are reforming, reforms should lead to better results, not to retrogress. And if that, in their wisdom, they still think that this is the best that should happen, fair enough.
You have taught for 20 years. You've done this for long enough to help with the 25 years, long enough to help with finding a lasting solution. As far as you're concerned, those who are teaching the course should be the one assessing the students. Yes or no?
I've just said there's no institution in this world where professional institution or even a university where people from the market are selected to go and set questions and mark them.
It's a yes, it is. I get that. Thank you very much.
I cannot say yes, but I'm just saying you have to make your final conclusion.
Well,
the yes may come from your end.
And I'm sure you've been teaching law. I'm hoping to study law someday. But from what I've seen people do as far as law is concerned, they'll take this as a yes.
Well, everybody has a right to his or her opinion, because opinion is from phenomena and experience, so you can have it.
Okay, so yes, it is for me, and I'm sure that my viewers will agree with me, because your student here agree with me as well. But thank you very much for your time this afternoon, and hopefully we'll find a lasting solution to this problem. I've just been speaking to Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman. He's senior lecturer at the Ghana School of Law. So you heard him. It looks like he's on the same. Is he one of the teachers who agree with the students' position?
We at the law school, at the Ghana School of Law, we are taught by people like Mr. Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman, and then Supreme Court judges, judges from the Court of Appeal, and then judges from the High Court.
And
they all
feel that they should be the people. Those who are teaching should be the people who are doing the assessment.
That is not the position. the position is that those who are doing the assessment and marking should at least know something about the teaching and evaluation of
what
law.
goes into the teaching, or as far as. But he was also saying that, well, the manual is not cast in stone. Just because you have a manual doesn't mean everything that you're assessed on should come from the manual. He says it's just a guideline.
You're not getting me.
Maybe I'm
we
not.
have,
me.
For instance, company and commercial practice. You do company law at the faculty, but the company and commercial practice has to do with the practice and procedure and principles. Okay. But then you go to write a company and commercial practice exam, and then you have company law from the law faculty.
And it's been a
questions coming. Yes.
Okay. So we need to wrap up this conversation. But you've petitioned Parliament.
Sure.
You've petitioned Parliament, and they've given you some assurances.
Yes. It will interest you to know that today we received a letter from Parliament supporting our stand that the council should halt any special classes for the repeat student. Okay. As I speak to you, we issued our notice yesterday and we received a letter from Parliament because there's a committee which has been set up. That is the Monitoring and Evaluation Committee. Mm-hmm. They have not finished their work, they have not brought their report, and they are even supposed to send reports to Parliament because we had a meeting on the 7th of March where the lecturers, the council, and then the student leadership were all in the room. Okay. So
what's going to happen from now? Parliament has given you some assurances. You boycotted the classes. Mr. Okukwajima says that, in fact, some of the students who were not part of the special classes actually didn't come to school or didn't go for classes because they joined you. What's next? What's going to happen next?
The way forward, we hope that the Monitoring and Evaluation Committee will meet the student and then, will dialogue and then see the way forward. But in the long term, we have equally sent a petition to the Council of State as well as the presidency to have audience with them. In actual fact, we want the president, as a matter of fact, to set up a public hearing committee made up of independent people. It could be it could be made up of a retired Supreme Court justices, lawyers, and then we students as well as lecturers, so that we can, solve this problem holistically. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any final
words? Yes, it's of interest to note that it is only in the Ghana School of Law that you get, when you get a C, it's a fail. And also
you don't agree that people who want to take on the Constitution should be assessed by that high standard?
No problems with that. And now you are asked to come for remarking if you think you're not okay. And then each paper is 3,000 Ghana cedis for remarking. If you remark all 10 courses, it is more than the school fees you paid. It is a total disincentive for anybody to even go. But in the record of the Ghana School of Law, as at the close of the deadline, over 470 people have applied for remarking.
So that means that there's something wrong with the system.
There's something wrong with the system. That doesn't seem to be something that people disagree with. It's something that a lot of people agree with, including your own lecturers. So what it means is that now we all have to wait for
the outcome of the
meeting. What is happening is this. Parliament has asked that committees be set. Okay. We are a law institution. Now, everything which will be prejudicial to the work of Parliament should not be done.
Including writing the exam.
Parliament says investigate what went wrong and see how you can remedy it. And then you quickly go and organize special classes.
So no special classes, you're waiting for Parliament's action.
Yes,
and then
so
we take it
we
from there.
believe it's prejudicial.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Unfortunately, we don't have too much time to
continue
talking about it, but I believe that we've done justice to the topic. Nicholas Nomashi is organizing secretary. Nomeshi. Nicholas Nomeshi is organizing secretary at the Ghana School of Law, and Delali Masiku is a member of the communication team of the Ghana School of Law. Joining us to have a conversation about this they're calling systemic failure, massive failure of the students there at the Ghana Law School.